going on, guys? My name is David Whitaker, and welcome to Level1Gaming.com special edition. Hashtag where gaming begins. Today we have a really special episode for you guys. We're talking about a game that I have been super into since last January at PAX South 2020. I want to start with the introductions of who we have here today. I'm going to start with our original panel. As you guys know, the floor hugger is here today.
Annyeong. How are you guys doing? It's me. Enough about me. Let's get into it.
And my brother from down the street, Dallas man.
What's happening? Just like Hugger, I like onions too. Yay.
What? Okay, I'm sorry, Hugger. What is onion? What does it mean? What is it? Is it just bye?
It's annyeonghaseyo. It's hello in Korean.
See, she's not saying onion, Dallas. So now we know.
Annyeonghaseyo. You all,
We're terrible people. You know
people.
this.
Yeah.
So we do have some wonderful guests with us here today, and we're going to be talking a game called Greak. And this team has really blown my mind with what they've been able to accomplish with this title. So I do want to begin to introduce them. We're going to start first with Jorge Gonzalez. He is an illustrator and concept artist. How you doing, Jorge?
Hello, guys. Nice to meet you.
Ooh.
I know Hugger's super excited to talk to you today. She's the creative minds are in the building. Next we have Mr. Rodrigo Fernandez. He is the co-founder and programmer. How you doing, Rodrigo?
Pretty good. Very happy to be here with you guys.
And last but not least, the person who made this possible for us today. And I really appreciate her for responding to me. Like I said before the show, I was like the guy who got the girl's number, wasn't sure when to contact her. But Anait, she is the producer and the business developer. How are you doing today, sweetheart?
Doing great, thank you. And thank you for having us.
Hey, no problem. Thank you guys for taking the time to talk to us today. So I want to start with you. I ask you a quick question. Not necessarily a question, but I want you to kind of give us the overall or the summary about the studio and about the game that is Greak.
Sure. So we are Navegante Entertainment. We are a studio that is based in Mexico City, and we have collaborators from other persons from other places in Latin America. So some of our collaborators are in Argentina. We have Jorge in Venezuela. We have people in Ecuador, people in Chile, and me in Texas. So we're a small studio. We are 8 persons, and so we've been working remotely to make Greek possible. So
Yeah, especially under the circumstances, right?
yes.
Yeah.
So have you guys found it, with you guys being in different places already, has it been more difficult or almost like, just a regular day for you guys with COVID kind of impacting, video game development right now?
Not really. I think we already were set on working remotely, especially since, as Anna mentioned, we are all scattered through Latin America. I think that's something that has helped the project a lot because we find a lot of people with a lot of talent all over that place, and we can communicate very well with them in Spanish. But in the development process, it hasn't been complicated because we were already working that way before, so it was just business as usual,
Mm-hmm.
So the first big question I have for you, Rodrigo, is to kind of straight to the point. What is Greak? For those who haven't seen any trailers or the article I did a few months ago kind of highlighting the game, what is this game?
So Greak is an action platformer where it's a Metroidvania style of platformer where you unlock characters instead of abilities. So it's a story about 3 siblings. The main character of the game is called Greak, as the title, and he is meant to go in. I think we lost somebody.
Yeah.
You want me to keep going? Okay. Yeah, so it's a story about 3 siblings. You start with Greak, who's the smallest of the 3, and the story is about rescuing them from an invasion from an enemy faction, and making what you can to get together with them. The core idea of the game is that each sibling has different abilities, and you can alternate between them at any moment. We got a strong focus on having an art style, a hand-drawn art style with animation is super important to us as well.
Okay. Hugger?
With each character, the beautifully designed siblings have their own abilities. Will you be locked into a character for a certain thing, or can you, switch back and forth, even though one character might require a puzzle, but you can use a different character?
The idea is so the core idea of the game is that we want to give out the players a lot of freedom with the characters, so they can be split through the world, or they can be back together. You can alternate the one. We don't want to restrict. We don't want the game to feel very puzzle-like. It has puzzle elements, but it's also very action-based. So you will be able to use any character you like a lot more than the other. But they are also the core idea that we are trying to make the players do is that they should be stronger when they are together, and you would like to be putting both characters together. We are actually doing kind of an odd mechanic that we would love to see how people feel about it. Is that when you put characters together, you can hold the left trigger and you can mimic their movements, so they move as a group. So it's pretty much that's the whole core about the game is about having multiple characters, and the fact that you can they have each their different abilities, and they can be completely separate through the whole world or just in the same level.
Oh, okay.
Dallas?
And with you having those three characters, especially with them each having their own specific move sets, what was the thought process? Why it's perfect for co-op? Like, why make it just single player?
So that's actually a good question, and that's something that I very strong-heartedly felt about the game. So there's an old game called The Lost Vikings. I don't know if you guys know about it. It's from Blizzard.
Yeah.
So I love that game, and to find the core idea of the game, we experimented with plenty of things. When we started Greak, we had in mind that it had to be a very polished experience, short polished experience. It was our first project, and we were experimenting with a few things. So after trying a couple of ideas, as a gamer, you kind of want to do something that you like to just iterate upon. And something I really liked was The Lost Vikings, which is an action platform, a puzzle platformer where you alternate between characters as well. And that's something I strongly think that got lost in time, that concept. Because we got games like Trine or something like that, but in Trine, for example, you switch character completely, it transforms into a different character. It's a linear experience, so it's a bit different. And I also think that having a co-op experience also doesn't lend itself very well to be a story-based game, right? So that's because you're having fun with your friends. You're not paying a lot of attention, and the game is very strong focus on the story. So I think that's kind of a mix-up, and the idea of having them it's like a giant level of The Lost Vikings. So it's an interconnected world, and the idea is that you can find them and have a complete character to play as once you unlock this new character is something that we think is the strong gamble of the title, right? Gameplay wise. Yes, sorry.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I don't know if that was something that clarified a bit the multiplayer thing. That's something that was perfect. It's something that we would like to do as well, maybe in the future, but it's a bit complicated technically, because since the character can be scattered through the whole world, that's a completely thing that you have to plan from the start, right? So maybe in the future, but not at the moment.
So, Jorge, I have a question for you. I'm not sure if you have heard this or not, but a few times that I've posted about this game, I've had people instantly tell me they get a Ori and the Blind Forest feel from this game, from the look, from the music. As an illustrator, have you heard those type of comparisons, and how do you feel being compared to a game that is beloved by a lot of people?
Yes, we surely have heard that comparison, but we are a different game. We focus more in the 2D hand draw animation, or it has more 3D environments. they use a different approach for to tell the story. So we like the comparison, but we think Grid is a very different experience.
Yeah, definitely.
And
So I think something complicated to achieve is to have your own art style, right? As Jorge is mentioning.
exactly.
Yeah, and I think it's also just pitching in. It's awesome that people compare us to that to Ori because Ori is fantastic, right? So we definitely want the whole experience to be a super quality experience, short quality experience. So. Some people say Child of Light, some people say Hollow Knight, some people say Ori. Those are great titles, so we're happy to be compared with those guys, but we definitely want to bring something new to the table. As Jorge mentioned, one of the core ideas is having a lot of hand-drawn animations. I think something that got lost for some reason through games with all the easiness to make. There's a lot of value to having 3D animations because you can do plenty of other things. But I think there's something unique about 2D art style that is timeless that got lost a little bit in the process because there's a very few games that still do it and they look awesome, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I
I
think
think Jorge can agree. The last game that really started to bring attention back to that style was Cuphead, the hand-drawn
Yes,
animated
yeah,
style.
definitely.
So it's like
And I
when I
think-
saw this, I was like, "Ooh, it's Cuphead, but doing it right in the platformer genre." It's like I love this. Like I
Yeah,
need
yeah, yeah.
this in my life right now.
I think it's a smart move. Like 2D, it just has longevity over 3D. If you ask me, like cell shaded graphics, hand drawn and pixel art just won't ever die.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's one of the strong ideas behind the game because we started the project quite a few years ago, and that it was a lot of a learning experience just finding out what worked and what not. But there's a few things in the game that are pretty old, but they still hold up because it's hand drawn, and that doesn't expire as easy as you mentioned.
And also for sorry,
yes.
Rodrigo.
No, go
Also
ahead.
for Greek, we wanted to make it's an integral like piece, right? It's the art, it's every component of the game is very carefully planned just to give that impression of more of a sort of a fairy tale feeling. So it's very carefully planned. So from every animation, from every, for example, background and the art is all hand drawn and carefully planned, which is some of amazing Jorge's work, right, and all of our art team. And not only that, but also complementing with the music, which we were able to get the orchestra for the music of the game that complemented the whole experience and made it a very we want to make it a very good quality experience.
Yeah, and I think just adding to that, something that I find really cool about the industry is that as a gamer, you may find two games that you like that are kind of the same vibe, but you can just play both, right? And just compare them. It doesn't have to be one better than the other. As long as it has something cool and new to discuss, to bring to the table, I think it's worth it because a lot that I think has a lot of value in games that we overlook is the discussion after finishing it, or the soundtrack, or keeping a lot of things that go beyond the gameplay experience. That is something that we cherish a lot. So yeah.
I don't know if you talked about the comparisons to Hollow Knight and Ori, but my first thing when I saw the hand drawn and I saw the work you guys put into it was oh god, it's an old 80s game. It used to be an arcade. Dragon's Quest?
Yes,
Old
that's
80s?
awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, great
It's
game
like
too.
that's immediately what I thought of. I'm like, I stopped, I looked at the hand drawn detail. I like to, it takes me forever to finish games because I'm just like, oh, look at that tree. That tree, nobody will look at that tree, but Jorge had to spend weeks probably putting that tree in the right spot. It's like,
Yeah.
I just love that. And thank you for your hard work. It's so
No,
beautiful, this game.
No, thanks. It's definitely a passion project for I think at some point the game evolved to be not only ours but for everyone, and that's something really cool that we know that when it resonated with people, we were like, okay, we have something really cool. Let's make it as best as it can be, and that's why we are taking our time and not announcing yet any release date or anything.
So a question I want to ask, and free for any of you guys to answer this, like, where did the idea for this game come from?
So it's a so there's plenty of things about the idea. So I can break it down if you like. So the idea of the name is actually from the other co-creator Gustavo. He's not in the call at the moment. He actually started the whole concept of Greek. He had in his mind the characters, some of the worlds he built upon with a couple of friends he had in his mind, and he approached me to just start the project, and we started just with a platformer where you know just trying out ideas. So after that, as I mentioned, the game has changed a lot because we never liked we always wanted to make a game that was just you know a lot of passion that we would like as a player, right? So we tried many things, and the as I mentioned, the idea of alternating characters was something I saw on the Lost Vikings. Gustavo saw it on a game, the SNES from the Lord of the Rings, and that's one of the things we tried that we really liked, because at one point we thought that the alternating between characters was only gonna be like an episodic thing, something like in Resident Evil, where you play just a chapter with one character. But it wasn't as cool. It was awesome just having them both, right? So we tried to experiment with the idea and see what was fun about it. And the whole concept about the game, about characters being a family, being siblings, that's something that we found that as a creator, I think you have to find something that you can understand very well. And I think all the people in the team understand like the symbolism of family very well, like having your siblings going. It was like, okay, in which situation would you, for example, it's an enemy invasion in your lands, right? The story. So in which situation would you actually go to this place and rescue the other person? It's a tough thing, but if it was something your sibling, you would probably do it, right? So
yes, indeed.
Something, yeah. So that was kind of the whole concept of gameplay wise and story wise. It was pretty much what got her into what it is today.
Okay.
Okay, big question. And I know this is probably only for me because I recently finished a game on stream and cried a little bit. Am I going to cry at the end of this game? Am I going to be on stream just be like, it's okay. It's not
Hopefully.
that serious. Hopefully. Oh. All right, I gotta have my tissues ready when I play this.
You know, we cherish a lot having I think it's something we understood very well once we started making the project is we're not very good just laying out story. We prefer environmental storytelling. I think that works the best with the game. So I hope we can actually involve you in the whole story in a way that actually resonates with you sentimentally at some point, but I won't spoil much about what happens, you know.
I'm gonna send you a picture of me ugly crying then.
He's saying he's trying to make you specifically cry.
Just me cry. Everybody else will be like, oh, that was so cute. And then here comes Hugger with the ugly cry.
Yeah,
Like,
So, on the family thing a little more, was that something that you knew you wanted to do from the beginning? Like, because the way the gameplay works, it seems like it's perfect for those themes, the family and teamwork themes. So was that something that you already knew you wanted to do and you kind of worked the gameplay around it? Was it all just a coincidence and it just those themes happened to come together gameplay wise, or how did that work?
So as I mentioned, it was mostly finding something that you can understand very well as to explain a story, and also I think it was something that, as you mentioned, it complemented the gameplay excellent, right? So it was a mix of both. We weren't sure about the whole theme yet. We had the world, we knew what we wanted to do with the main character, where we wanted to take the story a little bit, but I think when it felt right is when we had this concept of having the siblings, right, to be communicating together, you know, because it has a meaning also that the characters can move between each other and all that. So I think we didn't know at the start, just to answer your question, we didn't know. I think it's something that you have to, I think when you create a game, at some point the game itself starts suggesting where it wants to go, right? It's a bit of a weird thing to say, But if you're honest about the game, you will see where it's linked to, and that's something very cool. Because as long as you're honest, like, okay, this feels good, this feels right, let's just go on this direction and see what we find, right? So yeah, it's a kind of a weird thing, I guess.
Oh,
It makes a lot of sense, but
Nani?
Nani. My bad, Dallas. Go ahead.
no, I was just replying. I was just saying it makes a lot of sense.
I want to ask Jorge, being a illustrator, and a lot of things. I think whether it's illustration or anything we do in life, we draw inspiration from things in our past that we might have loved, and from that we build and create our own voice and our own path. So with that, I want to ask you, as you were creating and doing the illustration for this game, what inspirations did you draw from when you were creating Greek into its own lane?
Well, I am the second artist in the team. We do not have here our main artist or art direction, who is Nico. He started the project with Rodrigo and Gustavo. So I think they started based in a lot of mythologies and a lot of tales, child's book, and stories like the Lord of the Rings and stuff like that. In my case, since I entered this year, I just entered this year to the project, I like to find inspiration in stuff from the real world. I like to look a lot of place. I like to search image in Google Maps. Google Maps is a great tool to make searches for inspiration, and we took a lot of inspiration of real places, castles, and environments. And we also like to take inspiration from movies and animation. We love the Studio Ghibli. I love
Yeah,
the Studio
definitely.
Ghibli.
Absolutely.
Well, I entered to the project because I did some fan art to the Studio Ghibli, and Gustavo liked my work, and he talked to me and he said, "Hey, we have this project and we want to make it look a little bit better." So right now I'm polishing some of the environments. When I entered the project, they already have almost 60% of the project, right? No?
Hopefully.
We're-
I
what you
love
think?
that.
yeah, already
I
almost
love that.
exactly. So we took a lot of inspiration, a lot of back and forth between Nico and me. He's the art direction and the art director. And I don't know what else to say. It's
Yeah,
a
I think
for a lot of ideas from all the team, because we are a small team. We are only eight persons, 8 people, and we are always giving us ideas to make new levels, new environments. It's a really great collaborative work.
yeah, definitely. I think it has a strong suit on, as he mentioned, Ghibli was something we really love about it, but kind of a, I don't know how, it's a kind of a different thing, you know. It's not like Nino Kuni, but we love that kind of stuff. So yeah.
One of the great things about the art, for example, like Jorge was saying, is like since we're a small team, like it's really it's truly amazing that you can see the essence of every person and their style in the game, right? So like Nico or Jorge or one of our animators would come with this amazing idea, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, it's in, right? Let's put it in the game. It's amazing, right? And so I think that's something really good, that it gives its own personality, and it's really good to see like everybody's style blend in and do something like Greek, right?
Definitely.
Yeah, I think one of the core things we found when creating the game is that you have to adapt the project to the people that work in it. It's something that you have to feel that the whole team has to be comfortable working as, because I think that's the best way that, you know, you can give the best result and have something that you enjoy creating. Because you know, if you're forcing the idea to something you may want, it doesn't always goes right. So yeah, we try to just allow everyone to just pitch in and have input on what they want the game to be, right?
What what platforms is this going to be on so the people can experience this wonderful title?
So it's confirmed on PC and Switch. We are yet to confirm the other consoles. We definitely want the game to be on every platform possible, but for now we can only confirm the Switch and PC. You can actually right now from September 1st to 5th. I don't know when you're airing this, but we're gonna have an open demo, and we might have another one soon by the end of September as well that you can try on Steam. Just see if you like the game.
Did see that, and I'm gonna download that after this.
Is this the demo we played at PAX, or is this a separate demo?
I think it's
actually,
changed a little bit.
It's actually more updated than the one you played.
Well, I'm playing it again.
Yep. I'm
Yeah.
there tonight.
And you know what the best part is, David? You don't have to make a line this time.
See?
Download it on your own.
And no one can, like, I don't have to share control with nobody. This is mine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No sweaty people next to you. Oh, conventions, eh?
I hug
I
her.
wasn't that sweaty.
I sort of miss them now, though. It's
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not the
It's
same.
fun.
It's I know right now we're doing PAX online, and it's just not the same. It's one of those things where I would have missed running into your studio, into your game, not being able to go to PAX. I would have never realized or found a game that I just absolutely fell in love with. And as a gamer, I love to find new games and new games that make me feel a certain way. And your title absolutely did. That's why I grabbed every friend that came with me to San Antonio. I was like, Dallas. All right, Jay, come here. Everyone sit down and play this game, and you're
it's
gonna love
completely
it.
different. You
It's-
connect a lot with people. You kind of feel much better about working on the game. Just reaching
And-
out to people personally. Yeah.
Yeah, and going to conventions, you meet so many amazing people like you.
Yeah.
You meet so many people. It's really cool. It's an amazing experience.
Let's just hope
In
that
person, y'all had the advantage. Oh, my bad. Go ahead.
No, sorry. Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
I'm just saying y'all had the advantage of actually being able to see somebody's face as they play. Like if
Yeah,
y'all come across
definitely.
a certain part, you
Yeah.
see
Definitely.
that smile. Yeah, I told you. I knew he would like this.
Yeah. It's very different.
Like, how
Probably
does
gotta
that
be
feel?
frustrating right now that you maybe I know I can speak from Fame and I's point. We've been getting a lot of codes and a lot of demos being sent to us, and it's like I want to give my feedback, but I'm in that reviewer mindset. But if I was in a convention mindset, it'd be like, oh, this is so cool. But
Yeah.
when I'm at home, it's like, okay, I'm analytical. I'm too
Yeah, a lot
harsh
more
sometimes.
serious. Yeah.
I just want to experience a game in a convention setting.
Have you
Yeah,
guys
yeah.
The energy is different. The energy
Rona.
is much different.
have you guys received a lot of feedback or feedback that has actually shaped the game's development since from conventions, stuff like that, from people giving you guys say I like this, like that. You guys, has that really shaped the progression of this game?
Yes, for sure. Yeah, it has a lot of input on what we do. I mean, when you're a small studio, you are very receptive to opinions, what people like. I remember the one right before PAX South, we went to the one in Seoul, PAX West, and we were super nervous about it because it was the first time we were showing the game. So it was all or nothing, It was this concept about having different characters. It was a bit weird. We thought people may like the style, but we weren't sure people were gonna like the mechanic of moving them together, So it's a bit of a gamble. And when you get there, what you want to know is what people think, and you listen very well to what they have to say, what they like. And as I mentioned, the game evolves in something more than what you want, but what you see, you think people will like as well. So we at conventions we listen a lot of people, and people that are also write us after trying the demo. We try to keep up with all the feedback that we can get.
Probably I'm not gonna answer this. Is you guys are such a small studio, why not go into like early access on Steam or something?
Well, I think at this time, well, first of all, I don't think Greek is a project that would be more of the early access type, because what we've seen is early access games are a little bit different, since our game is more story focused.
Yeah.
it's just not a game that that would go well with something like that.
Yeah, I
I mean,
think
we
it's
would love to. But,
yeah, no.
yeah.
The early Alex is super comfortable to iterate upon because you get a lot of feedback and you can try the concept. But it's also it's a different kind of project. You know, we want Greek to be a very personal experience that you can play yourself, enjoy.
That's true. Yeah.
Sort of like, for example, Inside, it's a good game that you can just enjoy yourself. It's a bit short, but it's something that you will keep a lot. You know, that you will remember a lot of the experience. So it's sort of like that. So it will be cool early access, but yeah, unfortunately for this project, it doesn't fit very well.
In that same vein, if people want to support you guys monetarily with money, whatever, because there's always somebody that watches the offhand video and just like, I want to support this project.
Yes.
Could they do that?
At the moment, no. I think. I mean, you can follow us on Twitter. That helps a lot because we love that. Just having comments about what we post. Thankfully, since we are now working with Team 17, we are on a comfortable position on the project side. We are not, when you're on yourself, it's a bit tricky just to keep the project
Very
going.
difficult. Yeah.
But at the moment, I think we are in a just now comfortable position, so that's cool. But I hope in the near future we'll have some merchandise or something that people may like even more about the game if they really resonates with them that they can keep. Because for example, I collect video game vinyls for indie games.
Oh, me too. Yes. High five.
Yes, that's something that I think when you really like a title, you can just keep that. So we want to make a couple of those things. So if people like the game, they can just go the extra mile, and that will definitely support us. But at the moment, just dropping on Twitter, just following us, that's good enough. Or just trying out the demo, giving us your feedback.
Also, it helps us tremendously for people to add the game on the wish list on Steam.
Yes.
That is
yes.
super helpful to us. So wish list and Twitter, that's for us
Yeah.
A lot of support. So
Okay, awesome.
Make sure to leave all those links, David.
Yes, all the links will be in the description. The links will be in the description. The description.
Awesome.
thank you.
Dallas.
Okay, so I kind of want to get back on gameplay just a little. So with 3 different siblings, I remember y'all saying that you wanted to make sure you could really just choose one and go through. But is there anybody that you feel as different as they play? Anybody that you feel that's like better suited for combat, or is everybody going to be able to hold their own as enemies get more difficult?
So we try to keep a balance of not forcing you to play a certain character, but there will be definitely things that the other one can do that one of them can. So that way, it's kind of a back and forth where you can most of the time pick the one you like the most and the one you feel connects with more your playstyle, or maybe both. Alternating between them is very fun, or playing them together. But they also have certain traits that the other character can do. I'm not sure if I should go into details, but yeah, I mean, one of the core things that the 3 characters in the game have to feel completely different between one or the other. So yeah.
So I know you guys
Don't
aren't
spoil anything.
You guys aren't ready to give a release date just yet, so I won't ask. However, seeing where you are now, are you guys already maybe in the ideas of what you could do with a possible sequel, with possible add-on content? Is that maybe in the works for you guys in the future?
So we definitely think the game has a lot of ideas to iterate upon that we don't think there will be a good idea to just pitch them in this title. But for now, we're just completely focused on Greek, on what we want to put out. So there's no plans for now, but we think the whole world has a lot of depth, so we can create something more than that later. So yeah, for now it is just on this. We want to make sure it's as best it can be and that people really like it.
Listen, Rodrigo, the moment I finish the game, I'm going to tweet out I'm ready for Greek too. So just letting you know now that I'm going to be ready for it. So go ahead and Start drawing it up, Jorge. Let's get it going.
It'll be day one launch, and he'll be like, "Hey, where's Greek 2?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I'm done,
Hey,
so.
can I get the second one?"
Looking to my team, do you guys have any more questions?
I mean, I always got a question, so
yeah.
Take over.
so let's go back to the platform. You said so far where it's on. How do you optimize it for those platforms? Because PC is vastly different than
The
Switch is vastly different than PS4 or 5, wherever it's gonna land. What are you guys doing for that?
So we use the Switch as the main development platform. So that's way it's easier to just escalate through the others, right? So because the Switch, I am honestly impressed on the performance on the Switch. I think it runs
Right?
very well. We want to make sure the game runs as stable as possible and in the best frame rate we can. I can't make promises, but we want to make sure it reaches hopefully 60 frames all the time. But the idea is, we use the console as our base platform, and PC is just all over the place. But it's usually easier if you do it that way.
It's a nice way to put it.
Yeah.
You start with the lowest common denominator.
Yes, pretty much.
And then you come out with those NVIDIA cards, the 3000 series.
Yeah, I
swinging,
mean, come
so-
on.
Exactly.
I bought a 3090 to play Greek at 8K, 600 frames per second. Let's
Yeah, you
make it
can
happen.
probably run the game 8 times in that thing.
Exactly.
RTX Greek RTX.
Exactly.
RTX on.
Jorge's right.
Yeah.
RTX on.
RTX on.
He's like, those shadows, oh, they're gonna be so good.
So
yeah. Sorry.
So I don't know who designed the puzzles, but how do you find a balance between making puzzles where between making them too easy and making them just difficult enough that you get that hit of dopamine when you solve it, you get that good feeling when you figure it out.
So I think that has a lot to do with what David was saying about being in events. You play test a lot, so we don't, as you mentioned, we're not trying to make the game very hard. We want to make it a good experience that you can enjoy, and we don't want you to force you like having a frustration time. Just we want the game to ease you in, but as you mentioned, have this a good solution at the end. But the whole idea is we make these puzzles that we've been thinking about, and then we play test them a lot with team members. We play tested with friends, and conventions help a lot to just see what people think and how they come to a solution. There was a lot of things especially the third level in the demo, that it was little tweaks that we saw people were not, because I think a lot of the game is communication. It's not about being hard. It's just communicating well with the player, but it can or you can't do, and that helps a lot if you understand the whole concept very well. Because there's something that you will understand fairly easy. Yeah, like, for example, using a ladder, that you see the ladder, you expect it to work, right?
Mm-hmm.
But for example, there is a puzzle in the demo that is counterweight, and that's something you have to experiment, but you have to suggest it to the player, so you can just play around and see what it does, right?
So I have a question
Almost
for
like
all
a
three.
Tomb Raider level. Nani?
Hey, I think we're having time zone issues between me and you.
Oh yeah, time zone. That's what
Sorry.
it is.
Well, I'm sorry. Go ahead. More editing work.
So, not for me. Anyway, so we're gonna get a mix between like those mind-bendingly hard puzzles and like kind of like the Tomb Raider puzzles where they kind of suggest it to you, where it's like you can figure it out. Just use a little bit of your brain power.
Pretty much.
So we're gonna get puzzles in between there.
Yeah, we want to ease you in, especially because the whole concept of having multiple characters, it gets a little bit tricky. So we want to ease you into the whole concept and see if it works. What we are expecting a lot from the game is that it promotes a lot of discussion about the concept, because we think it's a bit weird. Because we wanted to make it pretty, but we also wanted to make it something different.
So I do have a question for all three of you guys, and you guys can answer in any order. If there was one thing that you guys wanted people to take away from your studio and your game, like what would that one thing be?
Go ahead, Anna.
Yes. I actually have something. One of the things that I think drive us to do what we do, well, first of all, it's a passion project, right? Everybody's passionate of what we're doing, but one of the things is also inspiring other studios to do what we are doing, right? So we are not gonna say it's easy because it's not. It's not easy. It's a lot of work. It's so many things that have to get to be put together for this to work, right? So many disciplines, so many things that have to be coordinated, and then we have like collaborators in other parts of the world. I cannot even imagine with even like more different time zones, right? It's the challenge that puts also in the project. But one of the things that I would like for people to take away from this is to always try. And if you have an idea, try it and always like and don't give it up, right? There's a time where you can decide on, like Rodrigo said, shaping the project, right? But always try and pursue what you want. So I think
Yeah.
that's something that
Yeah,
I would like.
I think as a game creator, there is a point that I will suggest. Just if you're curious about creating games, just jump into it as we did. You know, we just started just creating what we found, what we like, what we enjoyed, and at some point, you may want it to turn it into more of a serious, like I think it involves something like more of a more serious game. I don't know how to explain it, but there's a point where you will think that it can escalate into something real, so just that's a great point. I think I will share with Anna as well, that I hope people just from a creative point is like they just jump into it and see what they if they can do it. And I think probably from the game itself, the core message of the game is that you will be stronger when you are together. So I hope that's something that it's a very easy message, but I think it may resonate with people, especially in these times, right? So I think that's something that that's like the minimum message we would like to share.
Okay. What about you, Jorge?
Well, I really enjoy how collaborative the work is in the studio. It doesn't matter if you're an animator, if you're an artist, if you're a programmer. We took all the ideas and we worked together to make it happen. And that's the thing that I enjoy the most to work on Greek. The thing is very collaborative. And as Rodrigo said, that's the core message of the game. That's the core message of the three siblings. You cannot do this stuff alone. You need to work together to make something happen. And that's the thing that I enjoy a lot. I enjoy the most for the work on Greek.
Yeah, and I think that was one of the hardest things to get in the game, because and we saw it in conventions, because we didn't want the other character to feel like a chore to have, like it will slow you down. And there is actually a cool idea, a core mechanic we are implementing that even solves other issues later, that I hope you will like it, David, in a future demo. It's not yet out, but
okay.
But it was one of the core things that we didn't want the players to feel like, I need to drag this character around. We wanted you to feel like if you put them together, it works even better, So it's kind of a gameplay with a message. It's something, yeah.
I think that's awesome, honestly.
Cry at the end of it.
Stronger together. I mean, even us three here at Level 1 Gaming, we're all came from different parts. We kind of come together to create something. I love the message of the game. I love the whole family aspect of it. And that's one of the things I was going to ask you earlier, is that with the whole AI, the other part of the thing, do you guys ever consider like people get annoyed by, let me go back and I left this person?
Right.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Let me do this escort mission, but they're like 20 miles behind me. Yeah, no.
Yeah, definitely. That was one of our main concerns. But I think I think it works out. Hopefully, people try it and give us their feedback of why they don't like, so we can fix it. But otherwise, we saw very positive responses so far.
Awesome.
I want to ask each of you. This is a little bit off from the game, but still involving the studio. You're talking about working with Latin American people. What does it mean? Because I mean, none of us here, I think we can all see in the camera, are, the traditional game developers you would see in the United States of America, or traditional interviewers. What does it mean to be Latin American, work with Latin American people, and continue that tradition of just making great games? Because I know several developers that come from Latin American countries or Spanish speaking countries that are just amazing at what they do that don't get the recognition they deserve.
So, yeah, speaking for myself, I think it's kind of an odd thing because it's weird because I think once you're starting to stand out, people take notice a lot when you are like a minority in that way, but locally. But what we saw when we reached out, for example, when we went to PAX, people are so warm about it. I don't think it matters that much in that regard because people just they're there for the games, and they want to talk games, they want to see what you created. So I never felt in that way a barrier. So that's awesome. That's why we enjoy going to those kind of events, meet you guys. That's incredible. But I think, yeah, so far it's a bit different because when you're here, there is not a lot of industry. So just starting out is a bit more difficult, I think, because having been in Latin America, things are more expensive to go over there, and But I think it works out. It's for me. I'm not. I think it's a different experience, but I think there's a lot of the gaming community is very open about it. So I think that's awesome.
But I ask because where I'm from, actually my hometown, is where BioWare was founded. So it's like
that's cool.
The only studio we have is BioWare. And then we have Ubisoft in Montreal and Toronto, but like we don't have anything in Western Canada aside from BioWare that is the big guys that gives us representation. Like, we don't have very much art programs here, so it's nice to see the people, just giving back to their society, giving back to their country, and like how does it affect you guys and all that stuff?
So I think it's really cool. I think when people reach out, since we're mostly in Mexico, the studios is mostly in Mexico. I think people look up to what we are creating, and that's awesome. That's something I never expected because we started the project. It was just creating a game. I wanted to go into the game industry
just to have fun.
And that's something we really liked. So I think when people reach out to you and say, "Oh, your creating is pretty cool," and I hope I can make something like that. That's what we wanted, That's something that I think works out. And also, I think as a creator, that if you're doing something right, you have to give it back and just try to tell these people how did you do it and what can they do and help them out,
Okay.
Or hey, you've been quiet over there, Miyamori. Tell us, what is Greek to you? So quiet. I need to hear you.
But I wanted to point out something about the thing about Rodrigo was talking about recently. And as a Latin American, I feel so proud to be working on this project because at least in my country, Venezuela, there's no industry at all, not industry. Mexico is a little bit bigger, but they're studying the industry too. So being part of a project of this magnitude is a great experience, and we can also open a lot of doors to people in all countries to start developing their ideas. And we also have this conversation. I have this conversation with Gustavo, or creator. He said to me that we need to work more and harder than other studios in the other part in the world to get noticed, because we are smaller. We need to admit that we are smaller, and working hard make the project better. And I think it's a good thing and a bad thing. Like, okay, people do not notice our product because we are a minority or something like that. But making stuff greater or making better stuff because we work harder will give us a lot of satisfaction. We'll win. We will end up winning a lot to our countries, to Venezuela, to Mexico, to Ecuador, to all the industry here in Latin America.
Yeah, I think something cool about it that Jorge mentioned is that I think, yeah, he's completely right. It's a bit weird because you have to, there's not many places to learn from, so you have to learn it yourself, for example. And where we saw from reaching out to people in Latin America is that they may not have the best resume industry-wise, but there are people that are super passionate about it, you know? They want to create their best work, and when we got an opportunity to create it, they just give it all, and that's awesome because we put it ourselves too, and that's something that you want, you know? So yeah, that's something, just something to point out, I guess.
Yeah, I like to ask these questions because most of the developers we talk to are from, America, Canada. Like, we have resources, but when I talk to people from South America, because my father is from Guyana, bordering on Brazil and Venezuela, it's like I like to hear, because there's no industry there, but there's people with passion there, and I like to hear that you guys are we want to foster that passion and move forward, and just keep growing that passion. You don't have to have the best resume. You don't have to work at, Treyarch, Infinity Ward, Bungie, but we want your passion. That's what I like to see moving forward.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's something we really look forward when reaching out to new people that, thankfully the team has been able to be expanded to create a better game. And yeah, meeting people like Jorge has been just a key piece in creating a much better experience for everyone, because at the end of the day, you create the game, it'll just stand there in the eShop, and maybe years later some other kid will find it and what's
He's
this?
like, oh, you remember this game?
Yeah, that's
good.
something that will just stay there, and that's your work, so that's something pretty cool.
All right.
And I think everybody from our studio gets along very well. It's a very, very nice environment, and it's just really cool, to have something like that and participate in a project that everybody likes, and the team. So it's nice.
So Anna, I know Rodrigo probably don't want me to ask him this again. So can we get like
Release date?
a release
Don't
window? What about a window?
Y'all can roll your eyes in.
Yeah, you just do it. Just be like,
No, the reason I ask because whenever Mr. Fernandez turns his head, I can see that spring 20 something behind him, and I'm like, does that say 2021? Like, he's kind of giving it away a little bit. I'm like,
it says
No,
2021 on the Steam page.
Yeah, to be fair, this is an old print. This was actually on PAX South.
That was in PAX South.
Gotcha.
So yeah, that number doesn't count, David, anymore.
I was like, man, 'cause he's hiding his head over that 2020. Like, does that say 2021? He's not moving. He's keeping it straight up.
Yeah. The only thing we can give it you for sure is that it will be next year. We don't know when, but 2021 for now. Not this year. It's too
All right, dash my hopes.
Because if it takes like 1 month longer than January, he'll cry and say you lied to him.
I'm gonna be emailing you on a January 1. I'm gonna say, hey, now look, I'm not waiting 364 more
I'm
days.
not playing around anymore.
Exactly.
Awesome. So
Are we gonna get like a collector's physical edition? Like maybe with a steel book and maybe like a plushie, because I have a perfect spot for a plushie. Just saying.
Anna,
a steel book.
Well, hopefully, yeah, go ahead, Anna.
We would we are right now focused on finishing the game, but yes, any opportunity that we have, we would really like to take advantage of that. And one of that is like we are gonna be having a board game as well, so there will be a Greek Memories of Azur board game coming. sometime probably next year. But
I need it.
we will have the board game.
Awesome.
Vinyl too, because I need to collect.
I mean, definitely, that's something that I will personally really want because, as a collector, and I think one of the key things that was probably pointing out is Gustavo, the other creator. He's a lot into music. He has a music background, and he managed to get the permission to record the soundtrack with a live orchestra. It was awesome. So that's something of his creation. I never thought he was gonna actually achieve that. He was like, "Come on, just let's start doing the soundtrack already." And he was like, "No, wait, I got a plan
Just
for this."
wait. It's good. It's gonna come out. Just
Yeah.
chill, man.
So it's great. So I think a vinyl will be awesome. We don't have anything defined yet, but that's something that we'll really like in the future.
Awesome. So to recap what we've learned today, we will be getting this game for sure on PC and Nintendo Switch. You can currently play the demo on PC.
Yeah, on Steam.
And you guys really love people to add it to their wish list because that and Twitter will help support you guys and moving forward. Awesome. It's coming out January 1st, 2021. Got it.
Shut up.
You're doing so
Oh my
good.
god.
So I really want to thank you guys for spending an entire hour with us, just kind of talking about your game and just really letting us know that you guys have a passion for this game. A lot of people nowadays, we get the same games every year, and they may say it was a passion project, but really it's a battle royale game with stuff stuck on it.
You don't know the changes, David.
Oh, listen, if Greek is a battle royale, you've lost me.
You're gonna have developed parts of the game.
I think it's really awesome talking with developers
Thank
and
you.
development team who actually truly create a passion project, and that's something that we've always loved to talk to. We love talking to independent developers because that's where gaming. We have a hashtag on our website, Level 1 Gaming, where gaming begins. Gaming, any development is where gaming begins. Like some of your favorite games are from independent developers before they quote unquote maybe sell out to the yearly title, things like that. So I want to thank you guys honestly for just being who you are, for creating a game that's going to, in my opinion, stay out in its own lane. Because I feel that already, even with the comparisons. I know one of the first things Hugger said, "Oh, like Shovel Knight in a way." I think
Hollow Knight.
Hollow Knight. Sorry. So I think you guys are doing an amazing job, and I really want to thank you guys for coming out and speaking with us today. Dallas, did you have anything else before we stop holding these people hostage tonight?
Pretty much said it. Like one thing that we do whenever we go to conventions that is sad that we're not getting an opportunity to do this year is like we just look around for the most interesting thing we could find, and then we go grab each other and make each other play it. And like us being here today came from that. And I just want to
Thank you so much, guys. That means a lot to us. We definitely, that's what we are looking for when we created the game, just to just show it to people and see if they like it. So that's the best reward we got is hearing back from you guys, like that we are doing good and you like it. It really makes us really want to push forward and make it even better. So yeah, thank you for reaching
Think
out.
about it. The fact that they're in Texas, Anna's in Texas, Mexico, Venezuela, and it's made it all the way up here to Canada, where right now our main focus is like the Mass Effect remix or remaster, Dragon Age. It's like, but have you heard of Greek? Like, I don't care about them big titles. Have you played Greek?
No,
Because you'll forget about Assassin's Creed, but you'll remember Greek.
And it's incredible. Thank you guys that you support a lot indie games as well, because as an indie you just go into as same people. At any point anyone can become an indie if they just put the time in. So it's really cool that you support other projects because it's a great thing to do, and I think there's a lot of passion in it that it's worth looking at for many games. That whenever we feel like a deep in creativity, you just play any game that you find in Steam with a that you know that it's a good indie game, and it will change your mind because it's never what you expect. Something really cool.
Awesome. So I want to thank you guys again for taking time out with us today. Everything that everyone wants to know about this studio, about this game, will be in the description down below, including links. We would love to talk to you guys again after the game releases. I think that'd be a great opportunity for us to talk about this interview and the changes that were made and how you guys have progressed as a studio and as a team. I think that'd be great for us if you guys are
And
willing
how
to
it
come
was
back.
released on January 1st.
And how it was released on January 1st. So thank you guys once again for coming out and talking with us. We really appreciate it, and we can't wait to see and play more of Greak. And I will continue to scream your name every chance I get to every gamer I know, because you guys deserve it. You guys are making an incredible game. You guys are an incredible studio, and I want to thank you guys again. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. So
It means
this.
a lot to us. Thank you.
Thank you guys for rocking with us. This is level1gaming.com, where gaming begins. Thank you guys for listening and watching a special episode on our YouTube channel, whether you guys listen to it on Spotify or watching on level1gaming.com. Thank you guys again, and we're out of here. Peace.
Annyeong.
Onions.